Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will walk through another sample problems regarding the determining of the strength of a steel columns. So in this problem, we have A and B, and for A, we are required to determine the LRFD design strength and the AISC allowable strength for the columns shown in figure below. So we have here the columns. If the 50 KSI steel is used and using the equation of AISC section E3. So we are required to determine this strength and the allowable of the columns using these equations as shown in AISC section E3, and we will check that one in the table. So the second one, we will just repeat the problem A, but instead we are required to use the table 4.1 of the AISC manual. So here, let's get started for the solution of A. For the columns, we have the pin end condition of the support, and we are using the W12 by 72 profile of the columns. Then the height of the columns is 14 feet. So here we have the section properties using the steel profile W12 by 72. So we have the area, radius of gyration, both Rx and Ry. We have the depth, the plan's width, thickness of the depth, and we have the wave thickness. So first, we need to check the slenderness of the section, which is flanges. So we will repair this in table B4.1a, and we will check those requirements and criteria. So we are in case 1. So in case 1, we have the rolled section here, this profile, and we are required to, this is, hold on, we are using this table B4.1a. So width to thickness ratio B over T should be less than or equal to the limiting width to thickness ratio for the slenderness requirements, which is 0.56 square root of E over Fy. Then let's continue for the solution. So we have width to thickness ratio 12 over 2 divided by 0.67, the thickness of the flange. So we'll have 8.96. So we will check this one, this requirements, 0.56 square root of E over Fy is equal to 0.56 times the square root of 29,000 over 50 KSI is equal to 13.49, which is less than to the slenderness requirement. So therefore, our section is non-slender and steepened flange element. The next one is the slenderness of the weave. So referring back to the table, for the weave, we are in case 1. Yes, case 1. For the weave, case 5. So this is the depth to weave thickness ratio should be less than or equal to 1.49 square root of B over Fy. So this is the requirements of the slenderness. So going back to our calculation for slenderness of the weave, so it's over T, that is D minus 2K over TW. So this D minus 2K for this value because the h is taken from here, clear distance. That's why we deduct the 2 key value, because this radius here due to the curvature is key value. So therefore d minus 2 key over wave thickness. So this is the figure here, 12.3 minus 2 times 1.27. That is key value 1.27. So over 0.43 is equal to 22.7. So let's check 1.29 square root of E over Fy is equal to 149 times the square root of 29,000 over 50, which is the strength of steel, is equal to 35.88. So this is the criteria, which is our value here is d over tw is less than to the slenderness requirements. So with this, therefore the section of wave element is non-slender. So the next one is to determine the elastic critical buckling stress using the formula in AISC section A3. So that formula is here. That is section E3. The flexural buckling of members without slender elements. So these are the formula that we are going to use to determine the design strength and the allowable strength of the columns. So here we have the KL over R less than or equal to 4.71 square root of E over Fy, and the second criteria is Fy over Fe, which is the elastic buckling stress should be less than or equal to 2.25. So if we meet this criteria, we can use this equation. FCR is equal to this one. So if it is greater, if the KL over R ratio is greater than these requirements, 4.71 square root of E over Fy, then we can use this equation. So going back to our solution here, we have K is equal to 1 because our boundary condition is pin. Our L total height of the column is 14 feet. We'll convert to inches, that is equivalent to 168 inches. So KL over R ratio is equal to 1 times 168 over 3.04 is equal to 55.3. Then the elastic buckling stress is equal to pi squared E over the KL over R squared. And this is the figure here. If we substitute all this figure, value of E over the KL over R ratio, which is 55.3 squared, we'll have 93.6 KSI. Then the next one is to calculate the flexural buckling stress FCR. So this is the requirements according to that table of AISC manual. So 4.71 square root of E over Fy, that will give us 4.71 times square root of 29,000 KSI over 50 KSI, which is a steel, is equal to 113.43, which is greater than to the KL over R ratio, which is 55.3. So therefore, that one is we meet this criteria. The second criteria is Fy over Fe should be less than or equal to 2.25. So 50 divided by 93.6, which is from here, is equal to 0.53, which is less than to 2.25. So we meet all these two criteria. Therefore, we can use this equation according to the table of AISC manual. Now we can proceed to calculate the LRFD, the design strength, which is pi FCR times the area of the steel. So 0.9 times 39.98, which is this one here, times 21.1. And that is equal to 759.22 kips. For ASD, which is P sub n over omega, and P sub n over omega times the area of the steel, that would give us 39.98 over 1.67 times the area of the steel, that would give us 505.14 kips. So this is the answer for A, to determine the design strength and allowable strength of the column using the equation on section E3 of the AISC manual. So let's proceed to B, which is using the table 4-1. So if we go to the table 4-1, this is the table 4-1, this one here, because we have different size. Here we have 87, 79, 72. Our section is W12 by 72, so we belong to here. And here, sorry, what is that? And here, if you notice, this value here is effective length KL. Our KL here is feet. Since our K is 1, our L is already 14 feet. So we are here 14 feet. This is with respect to the in the weak axis where radius of gyration is Ry. So if we trace this 14 feet to these columns of the W12 by 72, we have this ASD 505, and the LRFD value is 759, which is the same as what we have calculated using the formulas in section E3. Actually, I have it here. Yeah. Here, this is the value of using those formula from section E3. So what we have here is 759, which is this one. It's very close because the table is rounding up to the nearest whole number. We have 505, so this one. So this is the reference of using that formula and the table. So you can see using the table is very quick and easy, because what you will need using this table is only the height of the columns. So once you know the height of the columns and the profile of the section that you are going to use, then you can readily get the value of the ASD and the LRFD value. So here, so that's all for the solution of E and B. So let me show you guys the one that how I use the table in the site. Actually, we have one condition here. In our previous project, actually, we have 4 columns to be replaced with this HSS 8 by 8 by 516, because the wide plans column here in the drawing is not actually available. So if we need to order it, to the steel supplier, it will take 3 to 4 weeks. It's a long time, to wait. So I have to check what is available in the site. So the contractor is proposing to use this HSA sections 8 by 8 by 516 if we can use it. So what you will do using that section, using that table 4-1, you have to check. What you will need here is only the columns height, and the profile. So the column height here is 14 feet, and the size of the profile we have already here. Then you have to go to the table to determine the LRFD and AISC capacity, how much the capacity using the 14 feet height of the column. So here, if you trace this 14 feet, go to here, you will get the value of the AISC 199, and that is the allowable strength of the AISC, and you have the design strength using the LRFD, which is 299. So once you know already the strength of this AISC and LRFD, the next thing you need to know is the actual loading of that column. For example, this one. So you need to calculate how much the actual load carrying of that columns. They have the typical loadings. So to calculate that load, this is the mezzanine floor, and column here is terminated at this level because it supports only the mezzanine and the ground floor. So to calculate that loading, I have already the load, the unit load of dead load, 7.5 kilonewton per square meter, and the live load we used 12.5 kilonewton per square meter because this area is heavily loaded due to equipment. So we use this live load. Then you need to determine the tributary area. So the tributary area of that this area here is 5 by 6.6 meter. This one, this is the tributary area. So you have the tributary area and you have the unit load, so you can readily calculate the dead load. So 7.5 times 33, you will get the 247.5 kilonewton. Then the live load, at the same manner, you can calculate that one, 12.5 times the tributary area times 33, that is 412.5. So this is the actual load of your dead load and live load. So the estimated load on columns for the allowable or service load, that you just add that one, dead load and live load, this one, you will get 660 kilonewton. And that is equivalent to 148.3 kips. And for the factored load, you have to factor the dead load and live load. 1.2 times the dead load. A dead load is 247.5 plus 1.6 live load. Live load, we have already determined that 412.5. So the total factored load of the columns, that is 957 kilonewton or 215 kips. So you can readily compute or compare that to the capacity, the one that we have in the table. So this is, I extracted it from the table. If you remember, we have AISC 199. So that's the capacity, and we have the service load 148.3. So we are okay for the AISC. Now for the LRFD, 299, this one, but here the actual is 215. So both AISC and LRFD are okay. So therefore, we can confirm that we can use these columns. So it's very quick actually. You need only to know the profile and the height of the column, then calculate the loadings of the column. You can readily confirm whether you can use that section or not. So this is what I use that column in the actual site condition, guys. So if you find this video, guys, helpful, and if you learn something, please don't forget to click the like and subscribe so that you will be updated for the next upload. So thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.